Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to round 21 of the 2021 championship season. Last time out, Zayden Davidson took his inaugural win in the Sony Cup Series. It took 215 tries for Zayden Davidson, but finally, he is now a Sony Cup Series winner, and he starts P3 today. But last time out, his teammate, DJ Kurtis, failed to finish for the second time this season, and his DNF at Michigan left with him with a mountain to climb in these last 10 races. DJ Kurtis is now 73 points adrift Jesse Turner in the championship race, leaving many to believe that Jesse Turner just needs to be able to learn from his 2018 mistakes and just bring it home. 10 races to go, a lot can still happen. A DNF from Jesse Turner and a win from DJ Kurtis could swing this championship race massively on its head. And really, Dylan Schwallenberg, Contenders, Llamas, maybe even Matthew Rodriguez. He's 5th in the point standings, and he's on pole for today. Maybe those 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the standings, they're a little over 2 races back. Some drivers, like Dylan Schwallenberg, just a little under 2 races back, could still be in this fight for the title. But Jesse Turner, DJ Kurtis, they are the main contenders for this championship bid, and they start 12th and 14th for today. But Rodriguez and Sanford are on the front row. Zayden Davidson, last week's winner, 3rd, with Contenders Llamas in 4th. How about Samuel England, though, in the top 5? Let's get you down to start the race. Good. Some news headlines right before we get going, looking at silly season. A lot of silly season news has came out right before this race. We had an off week last time out, and feels like it's been a minute since we ran Michigan. But with 10 races to go, this is going to be a big championship battle. But for silly season, like we were mentioned, next season the full-time cap is 45 full-time cars can only race for next season, and it's going to be even more dramatic for 2023, as there's only going to be 40 full-time cars. There's still going to be 42 drivers on the grid for races. Part-time cars can only enter 10 races at the max for one team. Samuel England and Daniel Bouchard have been signed on for next year. Rodriguez Racing and North Border Motorsports have tightened their partnership for next season. Rodriguez Racing hoping to be in victory lane after today. Their driver and the team captain, Matthew Rodriguez, is on pole with Sanford alongside. We're racing at Decatur. Down in the tricky part, the bus stop in turn 1 and 2. Matthew Rodriguez, Zayden Davidson. Davidson really has to try and defend against Charles Sanford. Sanford tried to fight that one, but couldn't do anything with Davidson as he powers back around. This is the trickiest part of the course. Running up the hill, everyone wants to try and squeeze their competitor out the most. Bobby Jones really pushing up in turn 3. And this turn 3 is so long and wide. Turner into Bobby Jones, spinning him into John Art. Art gets hit by Nick Mace, and Mace right in the back end of him, and everyone has to check up. DJ Kurtis really had to check up from hitting Nick Mace. He was directly behind this accident. Try and get another view of it. Turner and Art really hauling some ass on the bottom, and Turner gets right into the Monster Energy Racing Dodge, right back down into John Art. Nowhere to go for Nick Mace. Kurtis really great job to hit the brakes there. That could have been disastrous ever since Daytona, when Kurtis has been on a string of just bad results. I would not have been surprised if he got caught up in this lap 1 incident. One incident involving the championship contender, Jesse Turner, leading the point standings. Jones goes off the course. Turner pushes a little bit there, and Jones comes back on the course, right into the path of Jesse Turner. Could that be a racing deal? No, these officials have been very lenient on the racing deals, and a lot more racing deals than normal, especially considering how they were in 2019 when penalties started getting handed out more so in post-race. But with Jesse Turner, he's going to continue on, but Nick Mason, John Art, they're on the back foot. Kurtis was right directly behind Nick Mace when this accident unfolded. He was very lucky to escape with no damage. Nick Mace tried to go for a gap to the inside, but Kurtis wisely just got out of the gas and let that accident unfold. He lost a couple of positions, but he kept his car intact. Leading lap 1 of the race, Matthew Rodriguez is right ahead of Zayden Davidson. Cody Llamas has been able to get into third. Charles Sanford, Chris Dodd, they're racing down the front straight to try and get in fourth position. Dodd alongside, Sanford trying to get this position. Schwallenberg real aggressive, he's going to get both positions. What a move by Dylan Schwallenberg. And Schwallenberg desperately needs to be able to finish ahead of Jesse Turner in this race. Same with Cody Llamas. Up front, though, Davidson really giving Matthew Rodriguez a hard time here on lap 2 of the event. Davidson, last week's winner at Michigan, really going for it in the early goings on Matthew Rodriguez. Dodd wins that battle out on Sanford. Sanford nearly sideswiped Jesse Turner. Turner's up another position. England right to the back end of his teammate Charles Sanford. Red Bull Racing, really phenomenal runs from them two cars in qualifying. Red Bull Racing just not been as good as they would have probably hoped for. They were a little bit better in 2020, and this season it's just not been as good, but they're looking good here. England, though, really suffered in the slow part of the course. Bobby Jones trying to get the outside of him. Jeffrey Lynn to the outside of Jeffrey White. But White to the inside of Bobby Jones. The two Rookie of the Year contenders. England really suffered against Jeffrey White for this season. Jeffrey White clearly been way ahead of everyone in the Rookie of the Year standings. But it is Samuel England that is outrunning Jeffrey White in the early going. Davidson really suffering at the hands of Matthew Rodriguez. Clean air is everything right now. And Matthew Rodriguez controlling the line, controlling the race. Davidson pushes up, trying to find any sort of clean air. Cody Llamas is right to the back end in third place. Llamas and Schwallenberg, we talked about that pre-race. They're just a long ways behind Jesse Turner. They're going to need a little bit of luck in these final 10 races to close that gap in the point standings. Dylan Schwallenberg looking a little better than Llamas. Llamas stalls out about a second, about half a second really, back to Zayden Davidson, then falls back to about a second. Able to close that gap down, but Dodd in the 44 holding up Jesse Turner as well. So it is pretty difficult to pass. And further back, we've seen DJ Kurtis. He is not making his way up to the front like we really would have expected from him. He is in 14th position. And while everyone else has been able to make some passes in the early going, Kurtis has stalled and has not been able to make up any places since where he started. Air continues to be a thing. Davidson slides, Llamas slides, Dodd slides. Three cars really got out of shape there in the bus stop. And Dylan Schwallenberg alongside of Cody Llamas and Jesse Turner, also alongside Chris Dodd. Dodd really pushed way out wide there by Jesse Turner. And Schwallenberg able to get up into the third place, and Jesse Turner's going to follow him. Turner with 2 places up. He's from 6th all the way up to 4th position. Cody Llamas really struggling with the handle on his 48 Ally Camaro, sorry about that. But Cody Llamas, we know he's really good on the road courses, but that 48 car doing all he can right now. Getting a battle for the lead. Zayden Davidson really trying to set up Matthew Rodriguez, and round the outside for third place. Jesse Turner, the championship leader, to the outside of Schwallenberg, and for the lead, Davidson to the inside now of Matthew Rodriguez. And Turner, yes indeed, look at this move around Dylan Schwallenberg. No contest, the best car in the last few races. That 17 Ford is up into the podium positions, and Matthew Rodriguez is forced to surrender the race lead on lap 11. Last race's winner, Zayden Davidson at Michigan. Could Zayden Davidson go back-to-back, winning Michigan and Decatur? We know Zayden Davidson really runs well on the road courses, and now all that confidence behind that driver of Zayden Davidson, Matthew Rodriguez. He's been used to that clean air. He really slid and pushed wide in the bus stop. The very first lap, he was behind Zayden Davidson. Now he's got Turner under a challenge underneath of him. Rodriguez on the back foot. Schwallenberg trying to give him a little bit of space, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But here comes Llamas, and Schwallenberg says, I got to get up and go. I got to go. And there he goes. He goes right by Matthew Rodriguez. Everything's not so great right now in the Kellogg's Toyota as he falls a few places, now down to 5th. And could be down to 6. Here comes Sanford. Further back, Ryan Acosta has spun on the back straight, and Ryan Acosta was running just outside the top 20. And for Ryan Acosta, this season started off so well all the way up until New Hampshire. And we've seen when New Hampshire happened, Ryan Acosta got penalized there, and ever since then his confidence has just kind of hindered a whole lot. Allen Family Racing Teams kind of took a dip in the last 5 races, it's felt like. And Acosta heading to pit road as he's been involved in an accident. The Castrol Ford and the AutoZone Dodge are going to get together. And, well, I don't think Acosta's going to be picking up any Castrol oil anytime soon, as he went off the course a little bit, but he came back on, sort of like Bobby Jones and Jesse Turner. But unfortunately, contact was made. Harple and Acosta, you know, both drivers really high in the point standings if you consider things. Harple just outside the top 10 in the standings. Acosta, he is inside the top 10 in the point standings. But for Acosta, man, it always starts off so well for him, but the second half of the season has never been too kindly for Ryan Acosta. Pit stop should be coming up very, very soon. Now, teams and drivers were very reluctant to say that this race is going to be a one-stop. Now, you can go very, very long on these tires and the gas, and I don't think they'll be able to make it on one stop, as the 2-stop is the preferred and better strategy. And Davidson, the 18, staying out, but Jesse Turner also choosing to stay out. This is lap 18. So very crucial here. If they can make it to lap 21, they can possibly pull a day John Weeks from Watkins Glen. But here comes Matthew Rodriguez. He's going to be the first of the leaders. Here comes Charles Sanford as well. Jeffrey Lynn, who's been running in the top 10 pretty much the entire race here with Horizon Group, looking very good. Horizon Group really struggled. There's Jeffrey White in pits as well. But Horizon Group, this road courses have been sort of their strong point, which is kind of surprising. But Horizon Group, they won with Matthew Rodriguez here at Decatur in 2016. Could they pull some sort of strategy to get that 76 up front? Rodriguez definitely needs something, as his car is only good in clean air. The lap 19, they can mimic the same strategy next time out. Here comes Davidson. He is pitting. This means they could go to lap 38, so I do not believe the leaders will be able to pit and make it all the way. Even if they made it one more lap, which is going to be very hard to do, as everyone has pitted as they're coming down pit road now. For some of the people that have not came down already, here comes Chris Dodd, here comes Samuel England, Jake Bassinger trying to get the most out of this coming down pit road. He's alongside of England, but Dylan Young and DJ Kurtis. Kurtis has been very poor in this run. He's been outside of the top 10. Not been able to make up any places in the first half of this race. But him, Dylan Young, and Bobby Jones are able to stay out to lap 20. Now remember, if they can, and it's very tough to make it to lap 20 anyway. You're already running on fumes as it is. And Dylan Young and DJ Kurtis and Bobby Jones, I have no doubt they're going to have to pit this time around. And I don't believe at all they're going to be able to make it all the way. So the 2-stop should still be the preferred strategy, but it is very close. And would Dylan Young, DJ Kurtis, and Bobby Jones be willing to try to make it on a 1-stop? It's going to be very hard to do. Maybe a splash and go, and that could be a difference. That could be a strategy. That could be in play to try and win this race. Aiden Davidson leaving pit road. He was the race leader. And here comes Jesse Turner. Turner leaving pit road just with him. But Davidson really suffering off of pit road. Really cautious. Here comes Turner trying to get right at the back end of Zayden Davidson. Davidson was able to get back to the gas and hold him off. I thought for a moment Turner was going to try and overtake on Zayden Davidson leaving pit road. But Davidson's able to hold this off. This is going to be for the net lead. And Zayden Davidson does not want Jesse Turner hovering right behind him. Dylan Schwallenberg is still in the mix of this as well. Hearing there's been an accident on pit road. John Art got hit by the 56 of Jeff James, which I don't think we even mentioned. He tumbled there. Jeff James is in the 56. Matt DeLeo qualified this car to get in for the Great Lakes Motorsports team, and they replaced DeLeo with Jeff James, a Joseph Strigley Racing driver who failed to qualify for that team. And also up ahead, Ian Dutta qualified this 77 in, but this is Jack Halleck. As Halleck leaving pit road, he's in 38th, but he's been in a battle all race to get in the top 35. He's been racing with Anthony Marchese and Julio Cesar. Meanwhile, while the front three check out, past halfway, Kurtis Llamas is going to have to defend against Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez short pitted, and we're going to expect him to be the one that will pit the earliest of everyone that's going to be coming down for their second stop today. Rodriguez, his car was so quick in clean air, had a fast lap in qualifying, but as soon as that car got behind someone, it just has not been performing as well. Very good in a straight line by itself, but Rodriguez and team needs to get by some cars. Kurtis Llamas is just up ahead, and he's stalled out behind him. Then Charles Sanford just behind in 6th position with Jeffrey Lynn in 7th. And it's Chris Dodd. Dodd leading the Allen Family Racing Team cars. You've seen John Hart was in trouble. Ryan Acosta's in trouble. Chris Dodd trying to get this team a solid result, something to be proud of. He's in 8th position. Samuel England in 9th for Red Bull Racing. It would be his best finish of his career in the Cup Series. If he could finish in the top 10 or finish 11th, he'd finish 12th at Indianapolis. And Jeffrey White in the 11. Right now under a challenge right now for 10th place. James Shelley's been in the back of somebody. I believe that was on pit road. But Dylan Young leading everyone on that lap 20 strategy. He already pitted. He pitted on lap 20. Same with Kurtis, same with Bobby Jones. They all pitted on lap 20. They barely made it. They were basically on fumes trying to make it to lap 20. So it leads me to believe I don't think at all they can make it to lap 42. But you got to think it might still be possible for at least maybe a splash and go. If not, if trying to make it all the way. Young is leading this pack around, so it will be interesting to see what he does compared to everyone else, because he'll be able to take less fuel than everyone else, so he'll have a faster pit stop, and that could mean something down at the end of the race. But he's under a challenge from Richard Johnson. Johnson got a top 5 at Michigan, and Monster Energy Racing continues to be building a building, but they're going backwards as James Shelley just made a pass on him. Jake Bassinger just behind. DJ Kurtis is in 15th. Kurtis right now, oh man, disaster run for the championship contender, DJ Kurtis. Kurtis right now, oh, contact up ahead, that's Charles Sanford. Sanford in the 5 is in trouble. That's what happened with Charles Sanford. He pushed wide. Jeffrey Lynn tried to get underneath of him, and similar incident with Bobby Jones and Jesse Turner from lap 1, and this time it resulted in a much serious accident. Chris Dodd, or Charles Sanford, my bad, went spinning to the inside barrier, and that's going to be a DNF. And Red Bull Racing, they have been so disappointed in the fact that Charles Sanford has not been able to make it to the checkered flag in many of the races this season. He's been a top 20 car, and this one he's been a possible top 5 car. And Sanford's not going to be able to make it to the flag. Like we were mentioning, though, before we had to cut away, DJ Kurtis right now is only getting 25 points for this championship race. Right now, only getting 25 points with his 15th place run right now, while Jesse Turner is getting 50. This means it would be a 25-point swing in the Drivers' Championship if Turner can continue what he's doing, meaning it would be 98 points between Turner and Kurtis in the point standings from 1st to 2nd. And that is dreadful. In the championship bid where you need to be able to pounce on any opportunity, Kurtis really faltering, cannot find his way around traffic. He has not been able to enter the top 10 all day, and we expected more out of him because he is so good on the road courses. Now, a slip by James Shelley here is going to open the door for DJ Kurtis to go from 15th all the way up to 12th. Every point matters, and that's going to help a whole lot. Less cars to try and deal with. Good for Kurtis there. It's all going to be down to damage limitation, really, for DJ Kurtis today. 10 laps to go. The championship leader, Jesse Turner, is just behind. Matthew Rodriguez has came down pit road. Rodriguez has hit pit road in the 9. And DJ Kurtis, importantly as well, has moved his way into the top 10 places. So the first round of pit stops are happening with 10 laps to go. And Matthew Rodriguez is on pit road. Here comes a battle for 4th place. Samuel England door to door with Chris Dodd. Dodd had to lift a whole lot out of the gas, and Samuel England trying to rebound for Red Bull Racing. Red Bull Racing, their fallen man of Charles Sanford out of the race, but it is Samuel England picking up the pieces for Red Bull in 4th position. Dylan Young, he stretched it the longest on lap 20, but will he be able to make that strategy work to his benefit? Same with DJ Kurtis. See Jeffrey White, James Shelley, Richard Johnson, Jake Bassinger, then Bobby Jones. A little further back outside of the top 10, there's Cole Baker. The 79, he's gotten in the top 15 now with Eric DeMax, expecting some of these drivers to be pitting soon. See Zach Rodgers, Ryan Griffin, but CM Racing has been nowhere in this event. In the 8 of Alex Bianco, he just got in the top 20. There's Scott Roush, Dom Caps, but you may be asking, Dejon Weeks, 28th. This has just been poor from the CM Racing bunch, and this is not the performance we would have expected from the championship winning team from last season. Luke Martin drove this 0 car, which this is that car right there Dejon Weeks is driving. That was the car Luke Martin won the title in, and Martin dominated at some of the road courses. So this is just really a scratching your head moment for CM Racing. They'll be wondering what is going on with that race team. With 8 to go, they're not even in the top 20. Huge scramble, though. Further up from 4th on back. Dodd's able to get back by Samuel England. Nick Mace, the lap car, just ahead. There's Cody Llamas and Dylan Young. They're all on top of each other. There's DJ Kurtis, Jeffrey Lynn. A field from about 4th on down to 9th. All on top of each other. But further up, Jesse Tunner still working on Zayden Davidson. He's dropped back a little bit. Davidson needs to clear these lap down cars, and Jack Halleck might get in the way. He does not. He needs to put a lap down car in between him and James Shelley, or in between him and Jesse Tunner. But Halleck holds him up a little bit, but this isn't going to hurt him this time. And Davidson trying to pull the gap, but Tunner's going to squeeze on by. And lap traffic could dictate this race. Schwallenberg is 8 seconds back, and here comes Davidson working on the lap cars. Where's Tunner gonna move? Collins in the way. What a move by Jesse Tunner. Tunner's able to make this pass on Zayden Davidson, and that could be the winning move. And Tunner's just on it this season. 5 wins so far in the first 20 races. And round 21 of the championship season, he's trying to stamp in his 6th win of the season. Tunner's never won this many times, but Tunner finally has worked him over. And Jesse Tunner's out front yet again in the closing laps. Pack from about 4th on back to 9th continues to be very important to watch as DJ Kurtis continues to click through some race cars. Everyone's still sort of pitting some. However, Matt Rodriguez was the one that pitted the absolute earliest. But DJ Kurtis, we talked about him a handful of laps back, has been able to claw back a lot of positions here. I mean, he was outside the top 10 for majority of the race, but done a phenomenal job to keep his head on straight and focused. He's a 2-time champion for a reason, trying to become a 3-time champion. And these are the kind of drives you have to do when you don't have the car under you to be able to fight and get maximum points. You have to get what you can. And Kurtis running 4th right now. He's going to get 43 points at this current moment. It would only be losing 7 points. And that is crucial because it could have been 100 points. Right now, it looks like it's going to be 80. Pit road for their 2nd stop of the day. Jeffrey Lynn and Jeffrey White, the 2 Jeffreys, are on pit road. Matt Rodriguez pitted so early. I think this undercut strategy is going to pay off beautifully for him. Alex Bianco's on pit road now, but the leader, Jesse Tunner, pulling the gap on Zayden Davidson currently. Remember, Zayden Davidson and Jesse Tunner, they pitted on lap 19, so this is going to be the halfway point for them. So we expect them to be pitting, near contact with Alexander Rowe. Got to keep it on track. Jesse Tunner cannot afford to be throwing away points. If he can avoid having a similar 2018 season where he dominated and just absolutely threw it away at the very end, Jesse Turner has a very good odds of being champion for this season. Everyone's pitting. However, Turner's able to stretch it one lap longer than what he was able to do the first stint. But Zayden Davidson, I think he's coming down pit road. Yes, he is. Same with Dylan Schwallenberg. Schwallenberg is in pit road. Fourth place is DJ Kurtis. We know he pitted a lap later than Jesse Turner, so Turner's got one less lap in him than DJ Kurtis. But we expect everyone to pit. It's going to be a matter of what Kurtis and them do. There's your race leader, the 2015 champion of the series. Here he comes. Everyone's pitting. They cannot make it to the end. Jesse Turner, lap 39. It'll be lap 40 when they come back around. It'll be 2 laps of racing to go. I do not expect Kurtis to pit here. I expect that Kurtis will stay out, but it'll be 2 laps to go. Could he actually make this work? I think he'll have to do a splash and go coming to the white flag. Yes, he stays out with 2 to go. Where is he going to be in comparison to Turner? There's Turner there, leaving pit road. You see, it's going to be hard to see, but there's Kurtis going by now, and Turner's leaving the pits. So, I don't think he's going to get ahead of Turner if he has to pit, but he's definitely ahead of him here. And Turner is going to be behind DJ Kurtis. What it would be if Cybertron Motorsports snookers the field and got this one done. Dylan Young and Bobby Jones, I don't see them. There they are. Jones and Young have pitted. And Jones and Young, that's important because they pitted the same lap as DJ Kurtis. Kurtis, the only driver that has not pitted yet. It is 2 laps of racing to go for DJ Kurtis. Actually, I had the math wrong. It is 3 laps to go. Young and Jones pitted with 3 to go. And Kurtis stayed out. So I expect him to pit here to try and get a splash and go. Maybe it be a quick stop for Kurtis. And possibly could be a challenge for 3rd or 4th. But he stays out again. And this will be 2 to go this time around. 2 to go for Kurtis. Jesse Turner. And Zayden Davidson and Dylan Schwallenberg. They're going to be doing battle. Schwallenberg needs to get by Davidson. Points inside the top 5 places are crucial. There are 3-point differences moving up in the top 5. 4 points if you move from 3rd to 2nd. But, Schwallenberg's got him, doesn't he? Schwallenberg's going to use Alexander Rowe as a pick. And Dylan Schwallenberg is up in the 3rd position just behind his rival for the title. Currently losing 4 points to Turner. It's 2 laps to go. And DJ Kurtis, who was not even in the top 10 for majority of this race, has a strategy that could be very ballsy. The fact that Kurtis has not pitted yet is very impressive. Cybertron Motorsports and DJ Kurtis hoping for a miracle. There's no way they make it on fuel. They should have pitted last time around. They should definitely pit here. If he doesn't pit here, he should be able to make it. There's no way he stays out if he doesn't think he can't. DJ Kurtis, a 2-time champion of this series. Trying to do something big. He stays out again. I cannot believe this. This is huge. At one point, DJ Kurtis had it in the back of his head, and Cybertron Motorsports thought damage limitation. The white flag flying. Kurtis and team have snookered them. Zayden Davidson and Dylan Schwallenberg continuing to do battle for the final podium position. Davidson looks like he might have the upper ground here, but I cannot believe this. DJ Kurtis, ever since Daytona, he has just not had the run of races he really would have needed. 2 DNFs. He's had 2 DNFs. He comes off of a DNF at Michigan, loses so much points, enters this race 73 points back, and for majority of this race, we thought he was going to be 90 to 100 points back, leaving this race. Instead, he's going to swing a 10-point advantage in his favor for the title. DJ Kurtis is going to lead Jesse Tunner home, and Kurtis wins for the 4th time in 2021. Jesse Tunner, a road course victory is going to have to wait. Second place in the run for 3rd. Davidson got by Schwallenberg on the last lap to complete the podium positions. Schwallenberg 4th. 5th position, Matthew Rodriguez. The undercut worked beautifully for the 9 team. A top 5 finish for Matthew Rodriguez. In 6th place, a career best finish for Samuel England and Red Bull. The Napa Pro Series champion is kicking and crawling, and England, beautifully done. Jeffrey Lynn's going to beat Dylan Young home. Young is going to have to settle for 8th. 9th again for Cody Llamas, but another top 10 result for him. And Chris Dodd gets a top 10 result. Cybertron Motorsports. Oh, you love to see strategy calls like that. The championship is on. That team did not have a car fast enough to win this race. The 91 sure looked like it was capable, but the 19, the car they brought, was just not there. How rewarding must it feel that this team dethroned Jesse Tunner of their 6th win of the season, instead added their 4th win of the season. Kurtis is out of fuel. DJ Kurtis out of gas on the cooldown lap. And DJ Kurtis, the search for a 3rd title is definitely on. He leaves this race 63 points behind Jesse Tunner with 9 races to go in the 2021 championship season. We have 2 of the best drivers on the current grid fighting for this title. Tunner and Kurtis, if you're not entertained with this battle that we have unfolding, I don't know what else to tell you. With Tunner and Kurtis, they are some of the most smartest and most calculated drivers we have on the grid, and they're going head-to-head, and this race team really fought hard to put Kurtis in the prime position to steal this win. Congratulations to DJ Kurtis on snagging his 23rd career win and 4th win of the season. He is out of gas and made it happen. Congratulations to them. Let's get you the finishing results and standings after round 21.